Marvel's cramming 10 characters into their new movie. I mean, it's the Avengers times 2, and there's so much lore. Were they able to do it? We're going to talk about it.
By the way, everyone, the answer is no. No. Well, I should say almost.
Welcome back to AsArt with Nick and Kyle. Today we're going to talk about Eternals. It's out on Disney Plus. Me and Kyle watched it and we're like, it's a beautiful movie. It really is. The VFX is there. The visuals are stunning. The epic scale is fantastic, and it makes sense. Industrial Light and Magic worked on this, and there's even like cool breakdowns of the city of Babylon. It's incredible. Like what they did is fantastic. But I got Pecos from Instagram with me. By the way, if you guys like artwork, go check out Pecos's Instagram account. Beautiful artwork. We're going to talk about it, and we're going to see if it actually works. Like it's really big scale. Like they're really trying here. There's a lot of characters. There's a lot of cool, things to the characters and story beats and stuff, but do they have enough time? This is a one movie and there's 10 characters. So Kyle, let's just jump into this.
Yeah. I mean, okay. So really right off the bat, Nick, they tried to cover so much ground philosophically, thematically, and like just storytelling and character development wise that like, oh man, it was just so much. And I'm like, I remember messaging you. I'm like, I will not be able to cover the full breadth of what they're trying to say here. Also, like, and more to your point, this would have been a much better series.
Yes. So me and Kyle were talking ahead of time, and I was like, I was getting series vibes from this because even if every episode focused on one of the characters and they all meet up at the end or something like that, like you do the snatch thing where everyone's like, but then you can really get it because like there were some great story arcs there. Like I was really enjoying like the different emotional beats the different characters had to do. If it was like the memory struggling or the the post with Athena and her war, and then you have her being taken care of by
Gilgamesh.
There's just so many good things. And then the actor, right? He was replaying himself. He was like the son of himself constantly, so he would always be a movie star forever. Was that like a Twilight Zone thing? I can't remember, but it feels like a Twilight Zone thing. But like it was so fun. Like the different like character stuff going on was fun. It's just it felt so rushed and just kind of like this has to happen. We have to hit this beat. And since it was a Marvel movie, I feel like they dismissed some of the character stuff for jokes. You know what I mean? Like whippy jokes and stuff like that. We're just because it's a Marvel movie, right? It's one of those things like Iron Man's on the ground and we don't know if he's dead, and the Hulk goes and wakes him up and it's like, oh, it's funny, haha, But
right,
they always have like serious moments, but then they turn around and it's a joke. And I feel like you got that a lot in this movie too, like the turnarounds with the jokes and stuff. But I kind of liked where they were going with this because, I mean, what's next for Marvel, right? You have to go farther into space. We already saw Thanos and stuff. So now let's go to the epicness of the cosmos.
Yeah, I mean, we're getting into like, the crazy Jack Kirby stuff, right? Like we're talking like, gold and silver, more like Silver Age, like comics, right? Where like, I mean, I believe it was Jack Kirby. I could be wrong. But like that came up with the concept of the Celestials, right? And the that sort of like mythos, right? To the creation myth of like the Marvel universe and stuff like that. And I think it was like a really bold attempt with the visuals. The visuals was really good. Like I really enjoyed it. Like so how the Celestials are portrayed just by their sheer size.
Yeah.
Also by just like how we have technology that seems so far advanced, it seems like it's magic.
Yes.
Like especially like the opening scene where they're all like getting their suits on and stuff. That was really cool. I was like, oh, it's gonna be like that. Okay.
And
so,
it was really cool. Like even they did a good job overall with the film. Like the idea of Darwin was very interesting too. Like I like how the creature comes out of the water at first, like the whole idea of like fish evolution and stuff. But then you'll see like a statue of Darwin and it'll go to like a poster of Darwin, like with the fades, like talking about the evolutionary process and stuff like that. And I got thrown for a twist when they were there for actually the harvesting of a celestial, because I have no idea how that stuff works in the comic book. So when I was like, oh, woohoo, it's been flipped this whole time, like that was kind of cool. Like I was like, okay, you got me there. Good job. You got me. I didn't see that coming, but I wasn't really seeing anything coming. Like I was just like in it for the ride. I wasn't trying to predict or, whatever. I was just like, this is one of those fun movies that I just want to like turn off my brain and watch.
Yeah, like I almost want to say that I feel cheated with with the villain, with the
Who's the villain?
What are they called? Crap.
Icarus?
No, not Icarus. The monsters.
Oh, the guy
they have
that
a name
like
for
evolves.
them. Yes.
He takes the powers and he evolves.
Yes, Core, I think
and
his name is.
He's dead now, right?
He's dead.
Oh,
I wanted
spoilers, just in case.
I wanted to see that guy continue to live and evolve, right? Because we were given that sense that like what the
he was a celestial.
What are they called? The stained, the malcontent. What are they? Gosh dang it! What are they called? The name of the beings that like the dirty, I don't know.
Yeah. Those the creatures.
The creatures, whatever. So the thing is that they continuously evolve, right? Because in a way they're almost like life's rampant desire and need to survive, right? They're almost like raw survival. But we see through, I think his name's Core, the guy that is that he like sucks up some of the Eternals and like he evolves as well. Mm-hmm. He becomes more self-aware and sentient, and
he kind of even gets their memories too.
Exactly. And so that's the thing, is that like I think that he was trying to suss something out. He would become self-aware, and it's something that the Celestials wouldn't want, because they're the ones that determine how they guide creation, right? And they're something that is it's like a break-off civilization from them, right? But yet we see, and like, not only are they evolving, but even the Eternals are evolving, because they're supposed to not change. Remember, they're not supposed to not evolve, but they are. Their feelings are evolving, as opposed to, like how they look at Earth, right? They're no longer just like these people that oversee the harvesting of a celestial, right? It's like,
and is that due to Earth? Because like Earth is so different, right? Because I feel like everything in the Marvel comic books revolve around Earth, right? There's like something magical or precious about Earth, right? Like I don't know why exactly, because there's tons of other planets, and like they've even said in this movie, they've done this hundreds of times before, right? Or not hundreds, but like they've done this before multiple times. Yeah.
So I mean, there's actually a hint to that, or they say something about that, about the Thanos snap. Is that it was Earthlings who managed to bring back half the living beings in the universe, right? So it's like, people from Earth were the ones that were able to essentially save half of everyone that ever exists, right, within the universe. So it's like that kind of puts an emphasis on Earth as being like something that's ripe with all this potential.
Yes. Right? Okay, and then so that's like story beat stuff, but one thing that kind of threw me off, which didn't, like, this was not my favorite Marvel thing this year. Right. Because this came out in 2021. There was a lot of Marvel properties that came out in 2021. And first of all, I'm just going to say the relationships kind of threw me for a loop in this movie. I just didn't feel it between any of the actors. And then Cersei, is that the name of the main girl?
Yes.
I just didn't feel her connection with any of the Stark boys. meaning Stark of Winterfell, not Tony Stark. Yeah. But like I didn't feel her relationship bond with any of those two boys. Nope. Like even though she supposedly married this guy or was with him for like 5,000 years, their whole bond just seemed, I don't know if it was like acting or directing or what it was, or it didn't feel like it was there emotionally.
Yeah, I would have to say that my one word to describe all of the character relationships, like interrelationships, would be almost. Right? Like I felt what they were trying to go for. Yeah. Like I was like, this could be really something powerful, and it just kind of fell short. Like especially with the relationship between Gilgamesh and Thena, right? Like there was something there. Like it took me a little bit, but then I realized I'm like, they actually like care for each other, and I think, dare I say, maybe even love each other, right? And like, because like Gilgamesh has been looking after her because she has this trauma, right? Which is also another powerful character arc that I was almost there, right? Like
everything was almost there. Like they had the right beats, they just like missed it like by maybe time, not having enough time to really explain it. Because
Right.
you have 10 of them, right? And obviously their leader dies right away. So it's like 9 of them you're really focusing on. But like it still goes way too quick. Like you don't get a chance to really get and the speedster, I don't remember her name, but like
it is Makari.
Makari, she's like away from them for 5,000 years, living in the ship alone, or whatever she's doing alone. And then when
I think it was only 500. Sorry.
Okay, but like when the mind reader comes back, their relationship was like nothing's never happened kind of thing. It was just like weird to have like those time jump stuff. You know what I mean? Like it was just like, and I get it. It's a movie. You don't have a lot of time to really explain 10 characters arcs plus the celestial thing going on and this other relationship back in London or whatever. And then you got this creature thing going on too, where he's being self-aware, but you don't really have time to like, look into it. It's just like, there's like all these like, oh, that's great. Oh, we just don't have time. And then it's like, you have this awesome fight sequence at the end. And it's like, oh, it'd be cool if we saw them maybe fighting each other earlier, cause I really liked when they fought each other. And I just thought it was clever. And it was just like, it was almost there, but like, Kyle, I know we're going off topic a little bit, but if you had to pick a Marvel property from 2021 that would be your favorite, what would it be and why? Because like we had Loki, we had Spider-Man 3, we had WandaVision, we had Winter Soldier, we had the movie with the rings. I can't remember the name of the movie.
Oh yeah, Shang-Chi.
And then we had Black Widow, which that was probably down there with Eternals. I wasn't a big fan of that one. And then there was another Marvel show, wasn't there? But like that's like 6 Marvel properties right there that I counted. There might be maybe one more, one less. I can't. Oh, you had What If? That's what I was thinking of. What If?
Yeah.
But like obviously, like my favorite of the past year was probably the Spider-Man 3.
I would have to agree. It's Spider-Man No Way Home versus probably the closest runner-up was WandaVision.
WandaVision or Loki?
WandaVision.
Okay, WandaVision, then Loki, and then it was probably
no, actually, Falcon and Winter Soldier would be after that. Yeah.
Nice. All right, cool. So we got but like we kind of were similar where this was probably the lowest out of the 6 that came out probably.
Yeah. But I would like to say I want to see more Eternals. I just want I don't know, like all the stuff that I felt was almost there. I just kind of want it to go full into.
Do you think Disney should explore this though as a series later on, or you think it should stick to movies?
I wish they would. It would be something I'd be interested in. This is me, of course, personally, right? Like my opinion, but
because you can really explore the lore that way. Because I feel like with Loki and Wanda, we really got to understand their characters through the series.
Yeah, I mean, I really want to. Kingo's character was one of my favorites, right? Like I really like.
Which one was he again?
He was the Indian one.
Okay,
the
actor.
Yeah, the actor. Yeah.
I love that he just like pieced out at the end.
Yeah. No, like, but it was interesting because he vacillated between being being this sort of just like vapid kind of like Bollywood kind of guy versus like actually like pointing out really insightful things about his people. Yeah, like his family, right? Like when he talked about Sprite, he's like, you have these tells that I know you actually love Icarus, right? And it's like, oh man, I definitely like to see certain characters expanded on.
Yeah. So if you had to rate this movie, what would you rate it as?
Like what's the system we're doing?
1 to 10.
6.6.
Yeah, I'm right around there too. Because like visually, it's incredible. So it's not like I was bored at all. Obviously I was a little lost, and I was a little bummed out we didn't get to explore certain themes. But the technology guy. Sorry, I have to use their names as technology guys. But I love his
Faustus,
story arc, and I was so bummed that we couldn't really get more of it. Like we got just a taste of it. I'm like, that could have been just as cool shown in itself. Just the way he has to deal with this emotional toll he has on his, like.
Yeah, him and Kingo for sure were like really like Faustus was another one of my favorites, especially like how he did like the Naruto like
Yeah.
jutsu thing, like with his like making machines and stuff and like schematics, and I'm like, that's freaking cool.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
so I'm not good with Marvel space stuff. That's more
no.
you than me.
Oh no,
Okay,
no.
so when the three of them get called up to okay, sorry, this is just gonna be I'm gonna ask Kyle questions right around here. Okay, so obviously Kyle's not prepared. This is totally off the cuff, so give him a break if he doesn't have answers. I'm just spinning for it. So are there multiple Celestials? Because they all look different every time they go to them. Okay, and then this guy was the judge.
Well,
the guy that pulls him at the end. The red one, is he red?
Yeah, the red one.
Okay.
He's the big red. Yeah.
So is this like a round table? Are there like Celestials? Are there like 12 of them, and each one's a different like emotion or like task or job or something like that?
So it's interesting because I mean, in the movie we're actually told what Celestials are. So I am under the impression that there are a lot of Celestials.
Okay. Like Ego, the living planet,
12.
is one.
Exactly. I mean, because that's what they're doing, right? Yeah. Like each living planet that they're sort of bringing to term and harvesting births another celestial, right? Which then in turn creates more galaxies.
It's kind of what Ego was doing. Because Ego was like planting his seed, right?
Yes.
Right. And that's we're talking about Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
Yeah.
So okay, so they're getting taken to be like reprogrammed, or like are they going to go through are they going to wipe their memories? Like what's the point of taking them
for the Eternals?
Yeah, at the end.
Yeah. So it's like what they were saying. So they're linked with the Celestials, right? When they emerge, right? Mm-hmm. And so that's why like they were able to have that like sort of like transmuting effect that Circe did, that changed it into stone basically, is because, and that's what like allows them to survive that cataclysmic event of destroying a planet, right? But then also is what brings them back to what's the name of that central place that they all come from? Because they thought it was Olympia.
The Olympic Mountain, or the factory, or something. Yeah, it's something like that, right?
It's some grand place they come from, right?
Yeah.
And like that's what brings them back there, where they're repurposed. They deposit their memories.
It's like they recycle them.
Again. Exactly. Got some Cloud Atlas vibes from that.
Okay, and then did you watch the end scene credit?
Oh yeah, I watched both of them.
With Star Fox.
With Star Fox, yeah.
Okay,
I have no idea who that guy is.
He's Thanos' brother.
I know, but like I've never
Harry
read
Styles,
anything.
I think, is the actor's name. Or were you?
Yes.
So you didn't know who that was, or did you know who Star Fox was?
Neither.
Okay.
except that Star Fox is a video game character in a Nintendo property.
So I believe those two characters were a part of the original Infinity Gauntlet comic book series.
Oh.
Yeah, so like the little dude, Pip, he's I think I've just from watching people explain comic book stuff, not from reading it.
Sure.
On YouTube. I'm no expert here, but I think he was part of the original Thanos comic book storyline. Those characters.
That makes sense.
And so I'm curious what they're going to do now, because Thanos is dead.
Yep.
So like there's no more Thanos, which is kind of a bummer, because he was a cool character, but we get it, we understand. And they have more than enough characters to pull from, to probably last another 40 years of movies.
I would also say that because Thanos is dead, but as an audience, we've experienced that whole saga. Whenever people mention Thanos, it carries more weight rather than just a character like, and this character was very powerful. It's like, I'm his brother. It's like that, but like, because we actually saw what Thanos did and the effect
his power
it had.
level. Yeah.
Yeah. It's sort of like the fact that that's Thanos' brother is like, oh, all right.
It's like,
well, dang.
Yeah. And then we'll get Adam Warlock hopefully soon too.
Oh, I hope.
And then, it's going to be good. Like, I think where they're going with the space stuff is good. I'm more excited for the series on Disney Plus than I am probably the movies right now. But I am excited for Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness.
Yes.
And it should be pretty good, right? I think the multiverse can tie into because they have like now they have like magic, and they have multi-universe, and then they have like space. celestial stuff. So now that's like our theme going forward, right? Until we get something else like X-Men or something. But
so celestials are, I would say, a part of the. There's like planetary, galactic, universal, and then there's multi-universal.
Yeah.
Right. So that's how I kind of
like
scale
Watcher
it,
stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Like beyond time sort of stuff, right? Like, yeah.
So do you think this is going to hurt other Marvel properties? Like now, if we get an X-Men movie, does it always have to be such a grand, epic thing because of where we're at now? Like, do the X-Men have to start with like Phoenix Force right away? Do they have to go into space? Because it was so great in Iron Man when it was just like he was just fighting for his company. You know what I mean? Like, Captain America was World War II, so it was kind of big, but still wasn't like, this outer space, like everything has to connect to a multiverse, or everything has to connect to something else now.
I think I know what you're saying. How do we keep the grand scale while still keeping it about human stories, right? And like something that can be relatable to us, right?
Yeah. I hope it's not going to constantly get too big, like we're seeing with the Eternals now, right? Like that's a perfect example.
Yeah, so that's a big concern of mine as well. And actually, I noticed something in the Eternals that actually, I was like, yeah, I guess that would change our perception of what a big scale event is. So you notice that how easygoing, or like I guess like just like comfortable people are about talking about, in any other context, would be earth-shattering, perception-altering events. Right, like just like, oh yeah, I heard you were. Yeah, it's like, oh, I heard you're 5,000 years old. And they and like and we're just saying like the typical human characters in Eternals, right? They're just like, oh yeah, you're 5,000 years old, and like, are you a witch or something like that? Because I know, and like, there's references of, because of all these extraordinary things that happened, right? People are, I guess you could say, like
the new normal.
They're desensitized. Yeah, they're desensitized to this grandiosity in a way, right?
People disappearing and coming back in 5 years.
Yeah, I mean, think about that. If we went through that, and it's like, and then all of a sudden, like, like if half the people on Earth and in the universe all suddenly vanished, and then, like, let's say we had 19. Oh wait, I shouldn't probably say that. And then let's say we had some sort of, I don't know, like some crazy, some kind, right? It'd be like, like. This isn't as bad as, when half the people on Earth just
disappeared,
left. Yeah.
Yeah. And so did you watch the Hawkeye show?
No.
Oh, because there's a great sequence in there of someone disappearing and then reappearing 5 years later. They're like in a bathroom, and then they come back, and they're like, they open up, and everyone's like freaking out, like, who are you in the house? Blah, blah, blah. It's like this whole thing, and it was, I'm not going to spoil who it was or anything like that, because just in case you watched the show, but it was cool to actually see that, because we've kind of experienced it a little bit, but nothing like what happens when they returned kind of thing. Because like, think about it, like in the Endgame movie, they were returning on planets and Wakanda or all over the place, and anyway, but
that's got to be jarring. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it has to be jarring for anyone. So consensus, it was a C. No, D, because we gave it like a 6 out of 10.
I gave it a 6.8. It was approaching a C.
So a D plus. So D's get degrees and D's pass. So so yeah, I mean, it was fun. Like, the visuals were incredible. Props to the VFX people, and it's just visual style of everything was great. I just really hope in the future we can get more condensed character development. Maybe just cut the cast in half. I mean, as it is, like Guardians of the Galaxy were 5 people, and it felt like everyone had a story arc. But like, when you try to double that with everything else going on, it's just, when it's a movie, there's just not enough time, I feel like. And I think it felt rushed, and I think that's what ultimately hurt this movie. Yeah. Oh, and then who is the guy from Game of Thrones supposed to be? Kit Harington. Harington.
Yeah.
Who is he supposed to be from the comics?
Well, there's 2 things about that end credit scene. One is, so that sword.
Yes.
So Kit Harington's character is the Black Knight.
Oh.
And that voice,
like from Monty Python.
No. Well, sure. No. And that voice that asked him, like, you sure you know what you're getting into?
Yeah.
That's Blade.
What? That's our Blade?
That is Blade. Yeah.
Is this another team up team?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I
Because
have no idea.
I'm getting flashbacks to
Because we're also getting Morbius, right?
when Nick Fury approached Tony Stark.
Oh,
You know what I mean? Like
okay.
we're getting a team together kind of thing. You know?
Okay.
So what does the sword do? Does it like give him a costume and he can cut through like steel or something? Like is it like a superpower sword?
Yeah.
Does he only have his
like
power when he's holding on to his sword?
So
Like,
it's weird because like there's been different iterations in the comics, right?
Okay.
So typically he's just an average dude that's just a really good swordsman and is athletic, right? But like he's had a crossover with the Eternals before,
okay.
and he has had access to, I think it was like this like artifact that like enhanced his abilities,
which would be the
right?
sword, and
No, it was something else.
In this case, would be the sword probably.
So he's got. Well, I don't know. That's speculation right now. I'm not gonna try and
Well,
speculate
the sword
too
was
hard.
moving towards him. Like it was like it reminded me
Right,
of the Spider-Man symbiote suit. Like it was like trying to reach to him to take over
but
him.
this is not a celestial artifact. It's a I got the sense that it was a magical family heirloom.
Ooh,
Right? Because remember he said,
his uncle.
my family is complicated.
Oh, I thought it was something about his uncle. Maybe not.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. Maybe
he
I'm
mentioned
getting
his
this
family
mixed up with-
he mentioned his family history. Right?
Oh.
And I'm like, okay.
I'm definitely getting this mixed up with the Lion King. The monkey's his uncle.
But no, yeah,
I'm excited.
I don't know.
I'm excited
yeah.
to see some Game of Thrones characters in this Marvel cinematic universe.
What is it? Stage 4? Are we on stage 4 now? Cinematic universe.
I don't know what stage we're on, but they'll be making them to the end of time.
Yep.
Disney's gonna be ranking in those Mickey bucks.
Buckle up, y'all.
Yeah, maybe we'll
Or
see a Mickey cryptocurrency coin in the future. I think Walmart's gonna do their own, so we'll see. Mickey Mouse.
Don't bring in crypto. No.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for joining. Let us know down below if you guys liked the movie, things you liked, didn't like, or things you're excited for Marvel stuff. And if you're into art, beautiful sci-fi art too, go follow Kyle on Instagram. It's Pecos with a 0, and let him know you came from AsArt. Let him know how much
I always appreciate it.
Yeah, how much his artwork has influenced your life, if it has at all, or if it hasn't. Just let him know. I'm excited to see your amazing artwork, and just tell him to keep posting to keep him busy. And if you guys want to listen to our podcast, we're not doing a podcast on this topic yet. Kyle's probably going to do some research, and we'll go more in depth into maybe the future of Marvel, because we touched on it a little bit. We talked about Spider-Man 3, and we talked about the multiverse and stuff like that on the podcast, which is a really good conversation. But now watching this, I'm really curious what they're going to do in the future. I hope stories don't get overloaded, but we're going to have probably a podcast in the future about this, because I really like this topic, and I know Kyle does too. So we'll probably continue this conversation. So follow us on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, and on Audible. Gosh, I always forget.
We're just on so many things now. It's hard to keep
you can
track.
go to asart.space to find all of our audio and video links, and we'll see you on the next AsArt.